Shalom, my name is Jan. I work at Wizo, Israel. I will explain in Spanish how to connect the audio to the simultaneous translation in Portuguese and Spanish. Thank you for your attention. Podrán por favor observar en su pantalla, en la parte inferior, observarán que se encuentra un icono que indica interpretación. Allí podrán apretar en el botón y poder así elegir el idioma inglés, portugués o español. Elijan el idioma apropiado para así poder escuchar la traducción a lo largo del evento. Repito. Shalom, my name is Yael Berman. I'm working in Wizo, Israel, and I will explain how to use the translation to Portuguese and Spanish. Thank you for your attention. Por favor, observarán en su pantalla, en la parte inferior, van a ver un icono que dice interpretación. Al apretar el botón podrán elegir los idiomas inglés, español o portugués. Así podrán ustedes a lo largo del evento escuchar la traducción simultánea. Repito, en la parte inferior de la pantalla podrán ustedes elegir apretando el icono de traducción, ¿sí? Interpretación, los idiomas inglés, español y portugués. Muchas gracias.
Shalom, dear Haverot from around the world, and welcome. Technical issues. Excuse us for a minute. להתחיל? Okay, I'm sorry. Technical issues. Shall I start? Okay. Shalom, dear Haverot from around the world, and welcome to the 28th EGM, Wizo Enlarged General Meeting. I am delighted to see all of you. I wish we could be meeting in person, but this is our current reality, and we are comforted by the fact that despite the situation, the wonders of technology allows us to gather and see and hear each other. I would like to open with a moment of silence in memory of the victims of October 7th and the Gaza war, a prayer for the immediate return of the hostages who are close to our hearts at every moment, and for refuah shlema to the wounded. And finally, a prayer for the victory and safety of the IDF soldiers. Please, let's stand. Since that video was made, another Wizo graduate has fallen in battle. Master Sergeant Roe Maimon, 24, a paramedic in the Combat Engineering Corps Yahalom unit from Afula. Roe was a graduate of Wizo Nir Haemek. Yeh zichro baruch. To honor the many who have fallen, Wizo seeks to establish a memorial project in the relevant institutions, and we will be launching a special campaign to raise the needed funds. I hope you will all contribute to this fund. I am honored and delighted to introduce a message from the President of Israel, Yitzhak Herzog.
Shalom, dear Wizo friends, from the President's residence in Jerusalem. In 1992, the Wizo Convention gathered for the 20th time in Israel. During the ceremonial opening, the audience was addressed by an Irish-born Israeli who had lived in his lifetime so much of Jewish history in then the 20th century. From liberating his oppressed brethren at the gates of Bergen-Belsen in 1945, he made it all the way to become Israel's president. Of course, I'm speaking about my late father, Chaim Herzog. My father participated in that live Wizo convention decades ago, as I do in this virtual one here today, because for him, for my mother Ora, and for my grandmother Rabbanit Sarah, Wizo was always something special. For my family, so deeply invested in Jewish future and in the state of Israel, Wizo wasn't someone else's project. It was their project, all of our projects, because Wizo is woven right at the center of the story of the state of Israel. Wizo celebrates 103 years this year, and Israel celebrates 75. It is no coincidence, therefore, that Wizo has been there from the very beginning. It has been there throughout, and it is there in this dark and difficult hour that we all are in today. Dear friends, in these moments, we all grieve for everything lost and broken. Here, too, women have borne so much of the suffering. You may know that my wife Michal has been on the front lines of the battle to bring the unspeakable atrocities against women on October 7th into global public awareness. After the shameful, prolonged silence of the international community and international feminist community and the United Nations itself, this is an ongoing battle, like the battle to bring every one of our hostages back home, to restore safety and security to our borders, and to recover from this deep collective trauma. So, dear friends, with the unbeatable spirit of our people, we will rise up again, we will recover, and we will rebuild. I want to thank each and every one of you that is part of this vast and powerful web of caring, which is called Wizo. I especially want to wish and acknowledge best wishes to my good friend Esther Moore as she steps down from 2 exceptional terms as president of Wizo. And I want to salute our good friend Anita Friedman, World Wizo chairperson. You represent the best of our determination, vision, and will, and I wish you the best in your new endeavor. And I want to thank all of you. תודה רבה, חברות וחברים. עם ישראל חי.
Our warmest thanks to President Herzog and his wife Michal, who have been great friends of Wizo for many years. I would like to now move to our traditional in memoriam, in which we honor, remember, and pay respect to past president and honorary life members of Wizo federations who passed away during the 4-year period since the last EGM in 2020. As we do at every EGM, we will prepare a brochure with more extensive information about these beloved women, and of course, we will send it to you.
My dear friends, today I not only summarize my 2 terms as World Wizo President, but over 50 years of my lifelong Wizo passion and commitment. In 1972, I joined Adai Wizo Italia. We made Aliyah to Israel in 1980, and I joined Wizo Sevion and served on its executive. In 2000, I joined World Wizo as Deputy Chair of the Fundraising Division for 8 years and then as Chair for another 8. A total of 16 in the division, same division. My work included initiating new annual fundraising campaigns and designing all the World Wizo donor and volunteer pins. It took time. I remember Celia Michonik saying to me, "Esther, you have to open your hand and your pocket if you want to be a fundraiser." And I did just that. I started making and selling the Woman of Valor pins, Wizo Chai pins, and the Sponsor a Child diamond pins. They went like hotcakes, and the funds came flowing in. My natural empathy with donors led to an increase in donations, and approximately $24 million were raised annually during my terms. These funds enabled the buildings of new Wizo daycare centers, standardization of playgrounds in all daycare centers, and major upgrading of the Wizo schools and youth villages. Then, in 2003, I founded Friends of Wizo in Israel and served as its chair for 10 years until 2013. We raised funds and we were able to support 2 daycare centers. We, Friends of Wizo, partnered with Wizo Israel to host the National Bar and Bar Mitzvah celebration at the Kotel for 600 children of single parents. Our founding mothers, in their wisdom, decided that our movement needed a president to represent it nationally and internationally, to maintain close contact with our Wizo federations, nurture relationships with our major donors, to give Wizo a significant voice within the national institutions, the diplomatic corps, government entities, and to spread our Wizo message and introduce our movement to new audiences. I am proud that I have carried out all my duties and I was able to introduce Wizo to new audiences and to spread its empowering message through personal contacts with International Women's Club that I have been a significant member of since 1983 and held the senior positions of treasurer for 2 terms, 6 years, vice president and president, even while serving as your Wizo president. I attended many annual and national embassy events throughout my life in Israel. Many of them had no idea what Wizo was. Now they do. In 2017, I hosted a delegation of ambassadors' wives from 20 different countries to visit Wizo near Ha'emek, and they were amazed at the concept of our youth villages and were very impressed by the youth they met. One of the pleasures of being president is visiting our Wizo projects, the daycare centers, the youth villages, the community centers, and Wizo branches. Visits provide me with insight that I can share with you to instill in you the pride you should all have in yourselves and in your projects, to inspire and motivate you to do even more because you are fully capable. I have done this in all my positions over the years, and it is never more evident than during my Wizo missions abroad. First and foremost, I get to see the outstanding work you, our federations, carry out in your home countries. Your members' passionate commitment, devotion, and dedication is the wind below Wizo's wings. It has allowed Wizo to continue to do what matters for 103 years, and being able to understand additional commitments during national crisis. During these last 8 years, I was invited to Australia, South Africa, USA, Germany, Argentina, Czech Republic, Canada, Holland, Italy, UK, Chile, Wizo Switzerland, Wizo Ireland, Wizo LA, Wizo Mexico. Some missions like Australia and South Africa were very long due to the size of the federations. Many of the visits had special significance. Special milestones in the Federation chronicles, for instance, the CHW Centennial Celebration, Wizo UK's Centennial in 2020, and a Day Wizo Italia 90th anniversary. Some missions were special milestones. I was in Holland when the then Wizo Holland President Joyce Newman received a national award. In 2017, I was privileged during my mission to Chile to meet President Michelle Bachelet. In 2019, Wizo Ireland was established, and I was lucky to be the first Wizo president to visit the new federation. Last year, I was the first president to visit Wizo Mexico in over a decade. Meeting with our Wizo members worldwide is so important. The inability to travel during the coronavirus drove this home even more. Maintaining daily contact by phone or through conference video calls is great, but they lack what personal face-to-face meetings provide: the ability to express and witness true feelings, pride, excitement and joy, warmth and sadness. I take this opportunity to thank you all for the home hospitality you extended to me, for opening your homes to host events in my honor. Thank you for introducing me to your community leaders and members that have so much praise and appreciation of your work. The president of World Wizo also serves as the president, chief executive officer to the United Nations. In each of our UN designations, New York, Geneva, and Vienna, my office is also responsible for renewing security ground passes for our delegations. Our delegations in New York, Geneva, and Vienna carry out wonderful work, and in 2017, I was invited by our representatives to the UN, Dr. Chava Bugayer from Vienna and Anne Argy, Geneva, who organized a United Nations side event on post-trauma, and within its framework, I bestowed special Vera Weizmann Awards upon Professor Samuel Lahad from Israel and Ms. Yoko Arai from Japan for a joint project. And the Dream Doctors, founded in 2002, this is a unique Israeli nonprofit that integrates professional medical clowns into Israel hospitals, dedicated to improving patient well-being. The Dream Doctor pioneering model of operation has earned the organization international recognition as a leader in their field. An integral part of your president's duties is representing Wizo in the national institutes. Currently, I am a member of the executive and the extended executive of the World Zionist Organization, and a member of the Committee of the Zionist Affairs. I also represent Wizo on the prestigious Committee for the Amendment of their Constitution. Wizo is also a member of the Zionist General Council and the JNF-KKL General Assembly. This gave me the wonderful opportunity to participate in the 6th day following in Herzl's footsteps that covered milestones in his life in Budapest, Vienna, and Paris. I was able to share the Vienna part of the journey with Wizo Austria. After sitting on the prestigious WZO committee that planned the 2022 event marking the 125th anniversary of the first Zionist Congress meeting held in Basel, I proudly headed a Wizo delegation of over 20 to Basel. And in 2023, the Wizo delegation at the WZO celebration of Israel's 75th Independence Day in Jerusalem. In addition to serving on the Jewish Agency Board of Governors, I sit on the Aliyah Committee. During the 3 sessions held annually, we also meet with the various types of shlichim and hear from them about their fantastic educational work within the Jewish communities, challenges combating anti-Semitism and BDS, and their Hasbara work. Both the Zionist organization and the Jewish Agency are very much with their hands on the national pulse, and their support for the north and south of Israel is constant. Israel's south has been under attack sporadically for the past 20 years. During the previous attacks, the WZO purposely held its executive meeting in the north or in the south so we could show our solidarity with the residents. I met with the current Chief of Staff, Herzi Halevi, when he served as Chief of the Southern Command. You have often asked me why I invest so much in these entities. It is because it yields a very positive profit. They provide Wizo with a global platform to display its work. Moreover, as a member of WZO, Wizo is entitled to a yearly allowance to cover Zionist activities, and that is a very, very useful thing. I would also like to share with you that WZO is funding 5 apartments in our parents' home for evacuees from the south for the next 3 months. In the international arena, I sit on the World Jewish Congress Executive. It convenes 3 meetings a year, one in New York, Jerusalem, and one in an either European or South American country. To these meetings, I always invite Wizo presidents of the hosting country, the Czech Republic, Canada, USA, Italy, and Argentina, to name a few. I also met Jewish community leaders, members of the US administration, and world leaders. For instance, in November 2022, I had the honor and privilege to represent you at a 3-day visit to Rome, to the Vatican, and to meet with His Holiness Pope Francis. On a personal note, during my audience with the Pope, I asked him to bless 99-year-old Renata Perez, a dear friend and donor of Wizo, with good health, and he graciously blessed her. As your president, I was fortunate to be part of very special events. In September 2019, I was invited to join President Donald Trump and senior White House officials for a national conference call with Jewish leaders to celebrate with them the upcoming Jewish high holidays. I had a second conference call on President Trump's executive order to combating the rise of anti-Semitism. Then during COVID, I was invited by President Trump to attend on September 15th, 2020, the official signing ceremony for the Abraham Accords, which was hosted by him at the White House front lawn. It certainly was the highlight of the year. During COVID, you know, really. These 3 milestones were a great honor for Wizo. But by far, the greatest personal and Wizo honor was the invitation in July 2023 by President Isaac Herzog, a great Wizo friend, to participate in Kol Ha'am, the voice of the people, the President's initiative for worldwide Jewish dialogue that is focusing open dialogue between Jewish communities and advising our president on core challenges facing the Jewish people. I would like to share with you a very humble moment I experienced. But at this time, it has taken on a very different meaning. In 2020, Zaka bestowed upon me their Woman of Valor Award. Zaka volunteers, who are mostly Orthodox trained paramedics and are on call 24/7, they respond to the scenes of terrorist attacks and homicides throughout Israel. We are used to seeing them at horrific scenes to make sure the victims are treated with the utmost respect. They were among the first responders on 7th of October, and even their experience couldn't prepare them for the carnage they would find. Even the most experienced of them are not able to describe the heinous and barbaric acts carried out by those horrible monsters. For the past 3 months, Wizo has been an integral part of the national war effort and the campaign to release the hostages. It has been an emotional roller coaster, where a simple question like, "How are you?" is not easy to answer. We are told that the war will not be short, as the government is adamant that the residents of South Israel, who have suffered for 20 long years, and that damned bloody day in October, will never suffer again. And therefore, until the removal of Hamas from Gaza, the war will continue. Wizo will continue to carry out its work and support the country as much as it can. Israel deserves peace. The residents of the south of Israel deserve to be able to live in tranquility like everyone else. It will take 2 to 3 years to build the kibbutzim, but they will rise again. They will flourish. I want to thank you all for your continuous, steadfast, and outstanding support to allow Wizo to do what matters in our projects and in our communities. I have had a wonderful 8-year tenure, and I thank you and your vote of confidence throughout. I hope that I have been able to inspire and motivate you in some way to reach to the stars, to be the best possible version of yourself, learn something new every day, be creative, be innovative, be proud of who you are and what you do, and stand tall, tall for yourselves, for Wizo, and for Israel. As I embark in my next Wizo chapter as honorary life president, I know what I need to do. It's elementary. I will continue to do my utmost to promote Wizo as the biggest, most prominent and outstanding voluntary sisterhood nationally and internationally, as I have always done. And I hope you will continue to walk with me on this journey. Thank you for listening to me. I love you all. Goodbye, my dear friends, and God bless you all.
Hello again. Just pay attention that the videos have subtitles in Spanish and in English. So whomever is not following the videos, you can watch the video, it has subtitles. Thank you so much, Esther. What an impressive summary, not only for your 2 terms as president of World Wizo, but of more than 50 years of devoted, passionate, and loving efforts on behalf of Wizo and the State of Israel, beginning in 1972 as a member of Ade Wizo Italy and through today. I do not have time here to review all of your achievements over the decades, the last 4 of which I had the pleasure of working side by side with you. On a personal level, I am grateful to you for offering me to serve as your deputy when you were chairperson of the fundraising division, and eventually replacing you when you were elected president in 2016. This was a critical moment in my life that set me on the path that has brought me here today. And while you are concluding your term as president, you will continue with Wizo as honorary lifetime president. All of us in Wizo, here in Israel and throughout the federations, want to thank you, and we have prepared a tribute with greetings from around the world.
Hey.
אסתר היקרה, כבר ב-1916 נפגשו 2 חלוצים ציוניים, יוסף טרומפלדור וזאב ז'בוטינסקי. בשיחה ביניהם תיארו את אותם התכונות של אותו חלוץ, אולטימטיבי, שהמדינה צריכה בכדי לקום. וכך הם אמרו, חסר גלגל, אני גלגל. חסרים מסמר, בורג, גלגל תנופה, קחו אותי. צריך לחפור אדמה, אני חופר. צריך להיות חייל, אני חייל. משטרה, רופא, עורכי דין, מורים, שואבי מים. בבקשה, אני עושה את הכל. אני האידאה הטהורה של שירות. מוכן לכל, כי אני יודע רק ציווי אחד, לבנות. איך אפשר לסכם כל כך הרבה שנים של עשייה, מתוך למעלה מ-40 שנות פעילות? במשך שנות כהונתך כנשיאת ויצו עולמית, היה לי העונג לעבוד איתך כתף אל כתף, כדי לשרת את טובת עם ישראל ומדינת ישראל. את הקדשת את הזמן והמרץ, תוך מקצועיות אדירה. המקצועיות היא נר לרגלייך. זכינו למנהיגות נשית כשלך, נעימה, טובה, כזו שמובילה, מייעצת, נותנת ועוזרת בכל מסגרת קיימת, בחיוך, במילה טובה. ונמשיך לעשות עוד ועוד למען עם ישראל, כאן, בהסתדרות הציונית העולמית ובסוכנות היהודית. אסתר, עוד עבודה רבה עוד לפנינו, ואני יודע ובטוח שתמשיכי להיות מעורבת בחוד החנית. תודה על הכל. יחד, ורק יחד, ננצח. בהצלחה.
Queremos agradecerte mucho la gran labor que has hecho por nuestra gran federación. No es una federación fácil, sin embargo, bajo tu guía, en tu gestión, bajo tus principios, bajo tus valores, bajo tu ética, y en una coyuntura que este año no ha sido nada fácil, eres una inspiración para muchas mujeres alrededor del mundo, muchas mujeres jóvenes como nosotras que queremos aprender de ti. Bolivia es un país chico, pero tenemos un corazón enorme, y eso lo estamos aprendiendo también gracias a ti. Realmente te deseo toda la suerte del mundo, que Hashem esté contigo guiándote cada paso, y va a ser un honor tenerte siempre como miembro honoraria de la Wizo, y sé que podemos contar contigo para todo lo que necesitemos, tus consejos, tu guía, tu buen humor, tu sensibilidad.
Dear Esther, you inspire us greatly with your gentleness, dynamism, and profound knowledge of Wizo. Your tireless dedication and the love for Wizo touch our hearts. Thank you.
Dear Esther, thank you for representing us so well. You are an example for all of us.
On behalf of everyone in Canada at CHW, I would like to thank Esther Moore for her many years of leadership, support, and achievements. Toda Rabah, Esther, and thank you.
Dear Esther, as the president of Wizo Chile and spoker for all the Haverot that we had the opportunity to share you when you were in our country and celebrate the great work that you have done, I would like to send you all the love and gratitude of these years of the Haverot Wizo Chile. All of us remember your visit to our country, where you have the opportunity to meet us and be in different activities. In the last EGM 2020, that expressed your charisma to share with you everything that was experienced. We thank you for everything you have achieved in Wizo and leave a permanent mark in all the Haverot. We look forward to meeting again very soon in Israel. We send a lot of thanks for all you can give for us. You are example for inspiration for all the Haverot. Call Akavot, dear Esther, for all you can do.
Esther, Wizo Colombia quiere expresarte nuestro profundo agradecimiento por tu liderazgo ejemplar y dedicación continua a Wizo.
Tu compromiso ha sido una fuente de inspiración para muchas de nosotras y tu impacto positivo en la comunidad es innegable.
Gracias por tu incansable trabajo y contribución.
Dear Esther, Shalom from Finland. Thank you for your dedication so far for Wizo. You are the role model. Not only the Queen of Wizo, but Queen of everything. Mamash Malkat Esther. Toda.
Hello, dear Esther. It's time to say goodbye, but only to you as our president, the president of World Wizo. And it's time to say hello to you as our honorary president, lifelong honorary president, I believe, will be your title. And I thank you very much for all your support, for all your help, for all your good advice, and also for providing a great territory for your successor, for Anat. And I very much look forward to still be working with you and Anat at my side. And I look forward to seeing you soon, and may we all have a wonderful future ahead in our sisterhood, in peace and in health. All the best, dear Esther.
Dear Esther, standing here in the Wizo store in Amsterdam, Holland, I would like to thank you on behalf of the board, Wizo Board Holland. Thank you for everything that you have done for us, but also worldwide Wizo. Thank you.
Dear Esther Mazel Tov, thank you for the great help you gave to my federation, following it in growing up, in fundraising and sensibilization towards Israel. Your personal friendship honors me and Adai Wizo. It is a deep connection I'm sure will continue beyond the time.
My dearest Esther, we wish you the best of luck. We were so happy when you came to Mexico because we got to know you. And you're very happy to see all of us and to know us and see what we do here in Mexico. I wish you the best, and with all of you, Wizo Mexico, wishes you the best of luck always. Be very happy, and you can always come to Mexico. We'll be very happy to have you here.
To an incredible lady, our president and leader for the past 8 years. Dearest Esther, your leadership has been inspirational, and working with you has been a true gift. I am grateful to have had the opportunity to learn from your skills and wisdom. Thank you for your dedicated service, support, and friendship, for being such a wonderful role model and an amazing human being. I wish you the best of luck and success in your well-deserved new position. May it bring you reasons to smile and celebrate.
Darling Esther, I would like to wish you all the best with your future endeavors as you vacate your position as World Wizo President. I thank you for your dedication and your commitment over those years, and I've really enjoyed, in fact loved working with you, laughing with you, engaging with you, learning with you, right over all that time. Wizo South Africa joins me in wishing you all the best as you continue your journey as honorary life president of our Wizo. So, I'm not bidding you farewell. I'm just saying, until we meet again, we will still be very, very involved together in our beloved Wizo.
Dear Esther, for after so many years of dedicated work and involvement for Wizo, I wish you for the years to come all the best, a quiet life in good health, and enjoy your free time and enjoy your family, and looking forward to see you soon in Tel Aviv. Goodbye, Esther.
Dear Esther, from Miami, Florida, and as the Wizo USA Co-President, I'm sending you a warm hug and a message of love. But most important, a thank you for everything that you've done throughout your years, for Wizo and for Am Israel, for the people, for the children, for the women, and for your friends around the world. You're only a phone call away. We thank you also for your leadership and mentorship, and we're proud to call you our friend. So I know that you're just changing roles, because once a Wizo woman, always a Wizo woman. We can't wait to see what is in store for you, and we will continue working together for this incredible organization that we keep in our hearts. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We love you. I'm Israel. Hi.
Hi. Hola, del Uruguay. Hi, Esther. We wish you and all Wizo a happy new year and greetings. Thank you.
Greetings from Uruguay. We will see you, hopefully we'll see you soon. And hello to everyone and have good luck. We'll see you.
Bye. See you. Bye.
Querida Esther, muchas gracias por todo tu esfuerzo y todo tu trabajo en Wizo Mundial. Te felicito por tu labor tan espectacular. Aquí desde Venezuela estamos contigo siempre con tus logros, con todo lo que has alcanzado y sabemos que vas a seguir con nosotras en todas partes del mundo apoyando a Wizo, porque Wizo eres tú. Gracias, Esther.
Shalom to my dear Chaverot, Wizo members from around the world. 4 years ago, in January 2020, at our festive EGM celebrating Wizo's 100th anniversary, I stood on the stage in the Hilton Hotel, humbled and proud. Proud to be chosen to lead this great movement, humbled by challenges in front of me. Standing on that stage, I had a plan. I was determined to lead Wizo into our second century with strength, resilience, and sustainability. I was focused on the need to bring much needed changes and reforms to our organization, to streamline and modernize, and to implement a vision of Wizo's future that would ensure that we thrive, prosper, and be ever more relevant to the needs of Israel and its people. That, my friends, was the plan. But you know what they say about plans. The book of Proverbs teaches us that a man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. As always, though, it sounds better in Yiddish. Der Mensch tracht und Gott lacht. Man plans and God laughs. 7 weeks after that EGM, in March 2020, as the coronavirus was sweeping the planet, Israel shut down, triggering a series of cascading crises for Wizo, which consumed the first 2 years of my chairmanship. The memories of these terrible times have faded somewhat, thank God, and have also been pushed aside by the events of the past 3 months. But the COVID pandemic created chaos, fear, and uncertainty unlike anything any of us had ever known. It turned our lives upside down and sometimes seemed like it would go on forever. And just as life was beginning to return to normal, enough so that we could hold our annual MOR last January here in Israel and finally be together face to face in a joyous reunion of friends from around the world, October 7th happened. Our world has been turned upside down again. There are, of course, great and obvious differences between the pandemic and the Gaza war. But for Wizo, there are great similarities as well. In both cases, we were compelled to act immediately, vigorously and decisively. We needed strong leadership, and this was critical to the success of getting through the pandemic and getting through this war. When I talk about leadership, I am talking about a collective. I am talking about we. Yes, I am the chairperson, and it is my fiduciary and moral mandate to stand at the head of this organization and movement. To quote Harry Truman, the buck stops here. But to face up to the immense challenges we have faced in the past 4 years, in many ways the most challenging period for Wizo since the Holocaust, we needed and will always need a strong, united collective leadership. In Wizo, that means first and foremost the volunteers, leaders that comprise the World Wizo Executive, the leadership of Wizo Israel, headed by Ora Korazim, and our 38 federations around the world. It means a talented, devoted, and hard-working professional management headed by our CEO, Mira Mines, who has been at my side steering the Wizo ship through ferocious storms, nearly from the beginning. We survived the pandemic, and we will survive the trauma and shock of this war and this aftermath. We have to survive because Israel needs us to survive. But survival is not enough, not nearly enough. Coming into this position, I had several major strategic goals. First of all, sustainability. As the Mishnah teaches us, without flour there is no Torah. Without a sound and sustainable financial basis, Wizo cannot fulfill our promise to Israeli society. Therefore, we have devoted great efforts to streamlining our operations and minimizing our costs, not afraid to examine everything, including sacred cows that no one had dared to touch in the past. Was it easy downsizing our staff and saying a tearful goodbye to devoted employees? Of course not, but we had no choice. And we had no choice but to close a number of projects and institutions that had become a permanent financial burden, including daycare centers and other Wizo institutions. And we only closed these projects when we had exhausted every possible way to make them financially viable. But in a dynamic reality and a rapidly changing society, this is not always enough. At the same time, we're always looking for new opportunities, especially to open new daycare centers when we feel that the financial outlook is favorable to our long-term involvement. In certain cases, we found ourselves losing money operating institutions on behalf of the national and local governments, either because the basic funding model was wrong or the government was not fulfilling its contractual obligations to us. Either way, we had no choice but to tell the government, Wizo cannot provide these services at a loss, and if you want us to continue to serve, you will have to pay your fair share. Sometimes that worked and sometimes it didn't, but we are no longer willing to lose money operating services that the government has asked us to provide. Those days are over. More and more, we understand our tremendous value to Israeli society. We understand how much our great expertise, our vast experience, our history of excellence, and our sheer size and reach make us an indispensable actor in the provision of social welfare and educational services. Knowing this, we will stand strong and proud and demand our fair share. Our fierce commitment to efficiency and to vigorous financial management has paid off. Despite the chronic underfunding of our services by the Israeli government, we managed to survive the financial crisis triggered by the pandemic. And for the first time in anyone's memory, we finished both 2021 and 2022 with budget surpluses. These surpluses were modest, and we are now, again, facing major financial challenges due to the war. But the important thing is that we have proven that we are capable of dealing with everything that comes our way. This has involved a significant amount of organizational learning, a change in organizational culture, and sheer hard work and sacrifice by our professional and volunteer leadership. But sustainability does not only mean being financially responsible. It also means adapting to new realities, initiating new services to meet evolving needs. This is something that Wizo has always done, and it's why Wizo has always been such a central and relevant organization in Israeli life. From training women in agriculture to establishing Tipot Halav, baby care centers in pre-state Israel, to caring for new immigrants after the Holocaust, Wizo has always been there. The first shelters for women, youth centers all over the country, daycare centers in Air Force bases, hospitals, and workplaces. For 103 years, Wizo has always sought new opportunities to bring benefit to Israeli society while ensuring that these are sustainable for us to operate. And despite the crisis of these past 4 years, we continue to initiate, to innovate, to grow, and to lead the way. Here are some examples. Wizo Nachlat Yehuda Youth Village joined Nahalal and Hadassim in hosting the Jewish agency Naale program, where Jewish teenagers from around the diaspora come to live and study in our youth villages. This is a great Zionist enterprise, and Wizo is proud to be part of it. Last year, these 3 youth villages took in 75 refugee children escaping war-torn Ukraine and have found a warm and loving home in Wizo. Also, in Wizo Nachlat Yehuda, last year we opened the Tabasinik Family Emergency Center, which is a foster framework that is saving dozens of neglected or severely abused children who have been removed from their home by court order. We have opened new daycare centers and introduced new programs and educational methodologies. We're investing heavily in our human capital, in training, in engagement, in recruitment, recognizing that the quality and motivation of our professional teams is the key to the success of our services. And we are always seeking better and more effective ways to care for and educate babies and toddlers at this important age. The Israeli Federation, Wizo Israel, operates programs and services in communities throughout the country, 38 centers and 45 bigudiot, or second-hand shops. This army of thousands of devoted volunteers who have done great work during the war have taken important new social initiatives. One example is the innovative empowerment program initiated by Wizo Jerusalem, which brings together young ultra-Orthodox women and provides them with vocational training and life skills. In the area of protecting women and protecting their rights, Wizo is Israel's leader, and it's continually innovating new programs that address needs that the government has not provided responses for, especially in the prevention of domestic violence. In the past 4 years, for example, our Division for Advancement of Women has created nationwide programs such as the Invisible Children that trains medical professionals, teachers, law enforcement officers, social workers, and others to identify children who are the silent victims of domestic violence and help protect them. Perhaps the most dramatic example of Wizo stepping up to meet the critical needs happened at the beginning of the pandemic. When the lockdowns began and domestic violence exploded, we sprang into action. In the middle of the chaos of the first month of the pandemic, we initiated the creation of a national emergency shelter in our Beit Hois facility in Herzliya, in which abused women and their children could escape their violent partners, live in quarantine for 2 weeks, and then be placed in a regular shelter. No less than 430 women and children found refuge in this shelter during the year in which it operated. We will never know how many lives we saved or how much pain and suffering we prevented, but what we know is that we did something of vital importance that nobody else could do, only Wizo. We also continue to advance women's rights in the public arena. In the past 4 years, we have been instrumental in passing 2 very important pieces of legislation: a law promoting equal pay for women in the workplace and the electronic monitoring law to protect women from the violent partners by compelling the man to wear a monitoring device so that the police will know if he violates his restraining order. Wizo cares for Israelis from the crib to old age. And in the past 4 years, we have devoted special attention to our parents' home, a facility for the elderly with 110 residents between 75 and 105 years old, including 35 Holocaust survivors. We were very successful in protecting the residents during the pandemic. And with the help of a number of Wizo federations, we have invested considerable resources in improving the parents' homes' facilities and physical environment. In the administrative sphere, we have implemented many reforms and changes Most importantly, the overhauling and modernization of our information technology systems through the implementation of a new ERP, or Enterprise Resource Planning System, embracing all of Wizo's projects, divisions, and services, and radically upgrading our technological abilities and the service we provide our employees, customers, and volunteers. In leading Wizo into our second century, I knew that there were many things that needed to be changed and reformed. Wizo is a very large and complex organization, one of the biggest non-profits in Israel, with 6,000 employees, thousands of volunteers, and 38 federations abroad. Many of our organizational structures and processes were outdated and inefficient, and the overall organizational culture needed to be adapted to today's world. In other words, Wizo urgently needed a fundamental strategic assessment with the aim of formulating a plan that would modernize, streamline, and reform the way we operate, even if that meant implementing painful changes. I felt strongly that this process was absolutely critical to the future of Wizo. So, despite the pandemic crisis, we undertook a far-reaching strategic evaluation and planning process with the help of one of Israel's leading organizational consulting firms. In November 2021, the World Wizo Executive approved this strategic plan, which included 5 main areas, or what we call pillars. First, we have strengthened our relationship with the government and its agencies, and we are more proactive so that the government will see Wizo as a central and dominant force for providing solutions to the social and educational challenges facing Israeli society. Second, social activism and advocacy for women. In order to strengthen our relevance and position in the coming years, Wizo needs to be more proactive in advancing an agenda that focuses on women's rights and status. Third, developing new sources of income. In order to preserve and fortify our financial stability now and in years to come, Wizo can no longer depend solely on our traditional sources of income and must develop new sources of revenue. This effort has taken many forms, including creating for the first time a professional fundraising operation for the Israeli market. There is much wealth and philanthropic potential in Israeli society, and there is no reason or justification to be completely dependent on our federations abroad for fundraising. This has also provided an opportunity for members of the World Wizo Executive and other volunteers and staff here in Israel to get involved actively in fundraising by giving themselves, opening doors to new opportunities, or both. The first year of this effort has been very promising and successful. Fourth, strengthening the Wizo brand. The scattered, disjointed, and non-uniform presence of Wizo in the press and news media created confusion about Wizo, undermining the Wizo brand and weakened our public image and our organization. We have made great progress in this area, and we're delighted that the federations have joined hands with us and are benefiting from our transformation in marketing. We will soon be launching new World Wizo website in English and Hebrew. The fifth pillar is the focus on One Wizo, the idea and practical implementation that Wizo, despite its size, diversity, and geographical spread, is one unitary organization, and that all its diverse parts, projects, and divisions belong to that single organization. We have also updated Wizo's vision, mission, and value statement to reflect how we see ourselves and our role in Israel and the Jewish world now and in the future. Our mission, Wizo, is a global Zionist and activist women's movement. We are committed to voluntarism and strive for excellence in education and for innovative social action to benefit all of Israeli society. We prioritize the evolving needs of individuals at every stage of life. One area of which I am particularly proud is our dedication and investment in cultivating our human capital, our volunteers, thousands of them, and 6,000 employees. After all, an organization, especially one like Wizo, is only as strong and effective as the people who do the work. We demand a great deal from our staff, especially our senior management, and we must create the conditions in which they can succeed. We have devoted extensive resources and intention to the cultivation and empowerment of our volunteer leadership, beginning with the Wizo executive. For example, the executive took part in a comprehensive course specially tailored for the directors of non-for-profit organizations, with the aim of providing a deeper understanding of how Wizo operates and what our role as board members is. The course and additional initiatives are also aimed at acquiring practical tools and best practices to help members to be more effective in their work. Like any board, the Wizo executive must grow and evolve. Our veteran members, with their organizational memory, experience, and sheer love and devotion to Wizo, have much to give and will continue to do so for the next 4 years. At the same time, I have begun to integrate new executive members with relevant professional expertise and experience. This is an important process towards professionalizing our board and volunteer leadership, and I plan to continue on this path in the coming 4 years. We have also devoted much attention, energy, and resources to the welfare, training, and advancement of our staff, and to cultivating in them a sense of belonging, pride, and of ownership. We have adapted to the new realities of the workplace brought about by the pandemic and by generational change. Wizo is an international movement of women volunteers devoted with all their hearts to the people of Israel. This has been our DNA, our soul, from the very beginning. I don't have to tell you this because I am talking about you, our beloved Haverot in 38 federations. For these past 4 years, throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, when you couldn't leave your homes and gather together in Wizo's sisterhood for months on end, when being together meant looking at faces on a computer screen, you have maintained your deep connection to one another, to your communities and federations, and to us here in Israel. You have continued your blessed work as members of Wizo, as members of your federations. Even in the darkest moments of the pandemic, you never stopped being Wizo women. If someone had said at our last EGM 4 years ago, Haverot, hug each other tight and remember how this feels because this is not going to happen again for 3 years, you would have thought she was crazy. And 1 year ago, when we finally had the chance to be together in a wonderful, emotional MOR, every other sentence was next year at the EGM in Tel Aviv. Here in Israel, we started the preparations and the planning. This was going to be an amazing EGM together again, here in Israel, here in Wizo. And then October 7th. I am recording this message a few weeks in advance, and we cannot know what will happen between now and January 10th. We live in a time of deep uncertainty. But one thing I know for sure, the response of the international Wizo family to the devastating and life-changing events of October 7 was overwhelming. You rallied behind Israel. You organized and protested. You fought against the vile hatred of Israel and Jews that has exploded in every corner. You gathered together, gave each other support and strength. You organized incredible events, bring Jews and non-Jews together as people of decency and morality, outraged at the atrocities committed against us and at the unforgivable and inconceivable stupidity, ignorance, and moral bankruptcy of those who justified Hamas and negated our right to defend ourselves against a modern, jihadist version of Nazi barbarism and anti-Semitism. You stood at the head of the international chorus of people of goodwill the world over, chanting, "Bring them home." You scream out at the hypocrisy of international women's organizations led by the UN women who were silent in the face of the most horrific crimes committed against women. It was your unrelenting pressure that finally forced the UN 57 days too late to admit that maybe something was wrong and maybe it needed to be investigated. You have provided loving support and invaluable solidarity for the hundreds of thousands of Israelis forced from their homes in the Gaza envelope and in the north, and for the soldiers of the IDF who carry the existential burden of restoring Israel's security, of avenging the atrocities of October 7th, and of defeating an enemy who will slaughter us all. And of course, you also responded with unprecedented efforts and personal generosity in raising millions of dollars in a few short weeks for Wizo's emergency campaign. Being here in Israel and seeing the money pouring in every day, seeing your expression of solidarity was one of the most moving experiences of my life. And I know that all of us here in Israel feel the exact same way. Never in my life have I been prouder to be a Jew, to be part of this great people and nation, and to be part of Wizo. Never has the expression Am Israel Chai had more profound, urgent, and existential meaning. Sometimes it takes terrible tragedies and events to clarify for the world to see what is true and what is false, what is good and what is evil. And if we can say that there is a silver lining to October 7th, this would be it. There can be no doubt anymore of the true nature of the world we live in and of the peoples and nations we live among. There can be no doubt that Israel must always be strong and vigilant, that we cannot take our fundamental security in this land for granted, and that the state of Israel is essential and fundamental for the future of the Jewish people. And there can be no doubt that we can survive and flourish, recover and heal only if we are united. Beyachad nenatzeach. Together we will prevail. Thank you. Toda rabah.
The history of Wizo is the history of generations of women leaders like you, who, guided by their vision, devotion, and endless efforts, joined hands with the Zionist women like them to create the State of Israel. Today, I am proud to continue our long tradition of acknowledging and paying tribute to Wizo women who took the lead. We do this by bestowing the title of Honorary Life Member of World Wizo upon Wizo presidents and members of the World Wizo Executive, who completed their term of office since the last EGM. Because of the Zoom format, we are unable to do full justice to each of the honorary life members, and will do so in more detailed brochure that will be sent to you. We will also be sending each one of you a pin and a certificate attesting to your status as honorary life member. Now we Ladies, I would like to thank each and every one of you on the Zoom, and those who are not on, please pass it on to them. I appreciate the honor you have given me all these years. We will meet again. It was a wonderful journey that will continue. Now I am delighted to invite Raquel Alfie to respond on the behalf of all the honorary life members.
Today, once again, Wizo recognizes and pays tribute to the President of the World's Federation and past members of World Wizo Executive, granting them the title of Honorary Members of World Wizo for their outstanding contribution to strengthening our global network. With gratitude towards life and thanks to God for the last 43 years in this organization, I am proud to be a spokesperson to congratulate all the members recognized today, all Wizo sisters. Amid historic challenges, such as the current conflict between Israel and Gaza, the unity of our federations has stood out exceptionally. Wizo's strength and solidarity are revealed in times of adversity, demonstrating that women's strength shines more clearly. As leaders in female empowerment, we build a stronger future by protecting children, combating violence, and contributing to the well-being of society. Constant collaboration and solidarity have overcome obstacles, laying solid foundations for continued progress. This first virtual enlarged general meeting, bringing together representatives from around the world, is a testament to how women coming together under exceptional leadership leads to significant progress. Sincerely, I congratulate all the women recognized today as honorary members of World Wizo worldwide. Your dedication has strengthened an organization that has endured for 103 years, leaving an invaluable mark on our path towards safer, more caring future. A civil rights leader and advocate, Rosa Parks, once said, "You never know how strong you are until your only option is to be strong." This quote resonates powerfully in the context of our work as women, reminding us that true strength is manifested in times of difficulty, and that together, women can change the course of history. May this recognition be a tribute to that collective strength and the positive impact they generated in the world. Am Israel Chai.
Thank you so much, Raquel. One of the most important functions of the EGM is to elect key members of the World Wizo leadership for the coming 4 years. This year, because we're not able to meet physically, we will be holding the elections through a digital format on WhatsApp. Thank God for WhatsApp, right? The voting will open immediately at the end of this meeting, and only those who have voting rights may take part in the election. I will explain all of this shortly. Before that, though, I would like to mention the nominating and sorting process of the candidates you will be voting on today. This process began months ago and was conducted in strict compliance with the Wizo Constitution and regulations. A key role was filled by the EGM Election Sorting Committee, whose members were Miri Pekin, chairperson, Avital Blumenthal, and Roja Baram, and whose careful and comprehensive work ensured that this sensitive process would be carried out smoothly and professionally. I would also like to thank the Election Committee, consisting of Raquel Zeitouni as chair, Varda Siwe as deputy, and members Nili Amit and Ronit Ben Basat. The candidates standing for elections were recommended to the World Wizo Executive by the Sorting Committee, and the Executive approved all of the recommended candidates. In accordance with Wizo regulations, those entitled to vote in elections within the framework of the EGM are all members of the World Wizo Executive, the chairman of the Audit Committee, the representative of Wizo Aviv, and representatives of each federation based on the number of members in each federation. Those of you who have voting rights have been informed of this already. Where do you want me to start? Danny, sorry, technical issues. They asked me to start a little backwards because apparently it was a technical issue. The candidates The candidates standing for elections were recommended to the World Wizo Executive by the sorting committee, and the executive approved all of the recommended candidates. In accordance with Wizo regulations, those entitled to vote in elections within the framework of the EGM are all members of the World Wizo Executive, the chairperson of the Audit Committee, a representative of Wizo Aviv, representatives of each federations based on the number of members in each federation. Those of you who have voting rights have been informed of this already. The voting itself will begin immediately at the end of this Zoom meeting and will continue until midnight tomorrow, Israel time. Results will be announced soon after. The voting is secret, and each voter may only cast one ballot. The ballot contains 3 candidates or sets of candidates. World Wizo President, Anat Vidor, the World Wizo Executive, which is being elected en bloc as a group, and World Wizo Honorary Life President, Esther Moore. Esther will be joining Elena Glaser, who I want to acknowledge, she's in this Zoom, and Tova Ben-Dov as honorary lifetime presidents, and will be taking Tova's place on the World Wizo Executive. I would like to take this opportunity to warmly thank Tova for the countless and invaluable contributions she has made to Wizo and Israel over nearly 60 years of volunteering, and for her loving support, generosity of spirit, and personal friendship, not only over the past 4 years, but since 2013, when she opened the door for me to join World Wizo after I returned to Israel. I know that the entire Wizo International family joins me in wishing Tova much health and happiness at 120. I have already spoken in praise and gratitude to Esther, and also about my devoted colleagues on the World Wizo Executive. Many of you know our candidate for World Wizo President, Anat Vidor, but for those who do not, I would like to introduce her. Anat, please say hello to everyone so we can all see you.
לא שומעים את ענת.
Okay, now?
Yeah, Anat, go ahead.
Thank you, Anita. And hello, everyone.
We don't see her, we don't
I'm not on mute. Okay. Thank you, Anita. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited.
ענת, יש לך אקו, לא שומעים אותך טוב. ענת.
Problem with the sound.
Hi. Can you hear?
תנסי.
Is it okay?
לא, יש משהו פתוח לידיה.
No, it's okay.
Can everybody hear Anat?
I can't.
No, everyone is muted. Just keep on.
Okay, Anat, you can.
Now, yes, we hear you. Anat.
Can you hear us?
Yes, Anat, go ahead.
Yes, now yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you, Anita, and hello to everyone. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you all for your friendship and support. Really exciting. Saludos Cordia les a todas, las federaciones de Iberoamérica.
Thank you,
Sign
Anat.
high and vote right.
Thank you, Anat. Anat has been involved in Wizo since 2007.
No, Anita, no se escucha.
Anat has been involved in Wizo since 2007, beginning with the leadership roles she filled with great success in Wizo Australia. In 2018, she returned to Israel with her family, and in 2021, I invited her to join the World Wizo Executive as marketing chairperson. She took on this position with tremendous energy and creativity and led the transformation in Wizo marketing that you all have felt in the past 3 years. Anat will be Wizo's 8th president, and above all, her candidacy represents generational change that is so important for the future of Wizo. This is an exciting moment for our movement, and I look forward to working closely with Anat to move our movement forward to ever greater heights. And now, back to the voting. We have prepared a short video demonstrating how the voting will be conducted. All those with voting rights have been included in a WhatsApp group that has been established for this purpose. The name of the group is Wizo EGM Elections 2024. If your WhatsApp settings do not allow others to add you to a group without your permission, they have sent you an invitation to join the group, which you will need to accept. Only members of this group will be able to vote. Each voter will receive a message with a link. You should click on the link and the ballot will open. For each candidate, you will choose for, against, or abstain. At the end, you should press submit. If you have any questions or need help, please write to one of our team here in World Wizo, Galit Jacobi or Danny Shapiro. In the WhatsApp group, you have their numbers. Here is the video. Before we conclude this meeting, I would like to mention again the incredible activity and solidarity of Wizo federations around the world since October 7th. In recent weeks, we have begun to welcome solidarity missions from some of our federations. These missions have had the opportunity to experience firsthand what Israel has gone through since that terrible Saturday in October. Not only the devastation and horror, but also the incredible unity and response of Israeli society and of Wizo. The first such mission was from Wizo, New York last month. A mission from Wizo, Florida is currently in Israel. A mission from Panama is planned, as is a second group of Wizo from New York. We strongly encourage you to initiate such missions from your federations, and we promise to assist in the organization. Last week, the World Wizo Executive visited the Gaza envelope and other affected areas, and I can tell you that nothing you can read on social media or see on television can compare with the intensity of the experience and actually seeing it with your own eyes. We will conclude our program with a short and moving video from the Wizo New York Solidarity Mission. this EGM. Please join me in singing Atikva. Thank you. Am Israel Chai.